thought this was in a good position to share. Very intrusive, but kind of not in the way, too. Let's see. Keeps on ticking, never gonna let him go. Here he goes. She just likes her eggs already. Let's do something a little squirrely. Let's bring it some neon pinks. Oh, I'll do that too. I think we're in a good position for that. How do I haven't done this for a while. I need to show. I can't see my chat. Welcome. Where's my chat? Live chat on. Chat filter. Oh, message. There you go. All right. Gonna have to look at some organs again. I want it to be like some sort of lung or enlarged heart or kid, like some sort of almost like representational organ. Like an imaginative sort of, I guess, lung or I got my little Belial cooking. I just thought this one was where I haven't streamed in a long time, and I thought this was exciting because there's so many little hidden gems, little treasures here. And you guys are familiar with Basket Case from like the 80s, 90s, I think 90s. The little like monster twin that took over the B horror movie world for a little bit. They're all terrible movies, but they live in infamy, and they're worth experiencing a little bit of. And even the backstory's fun too. But there's all these little Easter eggs in this piece. Well, kinda. Lots of little details. Really excited about this one's. I like this style and like sharing this style. I'm a little more confident with this style because it's really, besides starting with the Simpsons background, it just spawns right out of my noggin. So it's like very. I have. I'll post a video later about how like I found this figure, and I really like that process of like finding these like inspired creations. Super like I really like original stuff when I can pull it together. And I understand that's rich considering I'm using like the Simpsons inspired background, but I just love like taking something that's familiar like our beloved Simpsons and then throwing it into my brain and my psyche and what can I do with it? How can I contribute? We're just gonna add a glow like that Mr. Burns kind of glow around the TV. I don't think we'll do the antennas. That might be a little too aggressive. And then we'll kind of fan it out, I think. It is pretty forgiving. It might look risky, but it's not. I could even wipe this off. And it will need a little bit more work, but you get the idea. I do think it needs to be feathered out. So we'll grab a dry brush. Hey, no, well, I use the Simpsons reference for the background, right? I get the couch and the layout, but mind you, I've painted the Simpsons background probably 30 times over the years, so it comes pretty good, pretty easy. I'm using a reference for this guy. I've been looking up organs on just Google. Same with Google just for my bananas. And then this figure, no, I just drew it kind of out of inspiration, and I have a video on that. I'll share it because I think it's pretty cool. But I just like kind of make some lines and some very abstract drawings, and then I just build off of it. And then certain, what else? The couch, I've been trying to find some like mashups of couches because I'm kind of in the middle of like real and just cartoonish, so I don't have like the best. I didn't land in the best spot because I think I planned on it being cartoonish from the jump, and then now everything is kind of like in the middle. So I'm trying to see what needs to happen there. I guess like I really think this will end up being kind of just in the middle, where maybe next time I'll try to start real from the jump. It might make it a little easier for me. Like a real, surreal, but realistic kind of couch next time versus like starting with cartoony and then trying to make it real. It's a little more challenging because it's hard to find a good reference for that. So there's no, for this piece particular, there's no direct reference because it just kind of comes from the concept of inserting in elements into the Simpsons universe. And then I just grow them as I continue to paint. And this is actually into day 3 for the painting, so there's been a lot of dry time. I think I'm okay with this being out to here. I don't think it needs any more. And then what you do is let it kind of sit for a bit. Ideally, maybe dry over the course of a couple hours. And then I'll do another like radioactive green around it. Kind of like, you could almost start now, but I think it's a little too soon. But you'll just hit it again, a little closer to the outline of the stroke will be heavier, but not as far out. It'll be more diffused. Then we might even get like a lime green white in there to finalize it. And the thing about painting is like plotting, because I knew this TV would have this kind of radioactive outline earlier on, but it wasn't the right time to add it. It would have had to keep getting worked and worked and worked because I needed the background finished. I needed to add some more details on everything. Peyote, 2 thumbs. Rebirth, like the Superman rebirth. That was also really wildly inspired, like super, like that Superman. That I could not recreate that one again. If that's the one you're talking about, the Superman rebirth. That's a class, and it was really hard for me to get a good photo. If you have the time, energy, I could not get a good photo of my rebirth painting. Sometimes when you do too much shadows and glazes and liquid, I found the camera to be really like just not working with me. So it was really hard to get a real good photo of that piece. Like there was so much reflection. This has a better chance of getting a decent photo, like when it's all said and done, because essentially the background and the figures, like there's not a lot of whites and blacks, so it's a little easier. Anyway, that's what I'm just remembering about the rebirth. Are you there? I missed you, but Peyote, 2 thumbs. Appreciate you. That's so cool. That was like, I really am proud of that piece because it was very inspired and I thought it came together really cool. Yeah, I had a talking to myself where I'm like, dude, you need, I have like, I'm really proud of the channel that I grew on YouTube, but I'm still not monetized. And it seems to be really hard these days. Like it's just, I'm not making, so I'm like, okay, I think I need to go live because I don't know how else to make it happen. I was posting a lot and doing a lot of shorts and stuff, and pretty intense and like workload, and it just wasn't getting anywhere. Meeting a lot of cool people and stuff, but just I think an artist in today's society, like you want to have multiple channels where you're making, like, I don't expect to make big money from it, but I just would be nice to, like, when things are slow, I can just jump on live or make a cool video and maybe make some small money that way as well. And then grow it, of course. It's not like, sure, it'd be nice if it made good money. A little bit of money would be awesome if YouTube just like, okay, then it's like it incentivizes me to make more videos. Well, of course, pushing my work. I just think it's a win-win. So I just need to like wrap my head around that. But if you saw my setup right now, the camera is like literally in my face, and I kind of hate it. But I'm just trying to talk to myself to say, hey man, get over that and figure it out. And I think I need to just post like these lives when something's worth seeing on camera. Some of my stages, the painting just isn't theirs. I just find it not to be very interesting. You can see these little teeth coming to life. Give a little shadow here. Anybody familiar with Belial on here? Definitely an older cut. But I think his spirit lives on. Even if you don't really know the movie, you've probably seen this creature somewhere along the way. But I really love this idea of like mashing up. This face is pretty, comes deep within my psyche, so I don't know where. I was just playing with it and I'm like, okay, I like it. I think it's a good look. It's haunting, but not overly grotesque. I put this neon pink in the I put this neon pink in here, but okay. This neon pink. Organs I've painted organs a couple times. They always cause me problems. There must be an easier way. I gotta solve that. Because they're like a number of different kind of pinks, peaches, deep purples, blues. Like if you look at a human heart, like a real life human heart, there's so many, and they kind of flow into one another. They're not really, they're challenging. Human organs are challenging. Let's go pink and orange. The pink and orange should be a good highlight color for my hazmat suit kind of thing. Yeah, I like that. That's good. Pace yourself. Don't rush at this stage in the game. Just pace yourself. Don't make more work for yourself, and just make things better. Add more details. You do need to like really plan to when you're gonna, like, we are in detail stage. If I did this too early, it's just kind of like you're gonna have to rework things over and over again. So it's not worth it, but now it's detail stage time. For example, let's do some more details like I'm talking about. Let's get some like kind of silver We'll just do straight up, well, add a little, always, I don't know. There's no real but let's get the silver going. I was just contemplating, does it need blue? Yeah, kind of typically needs a little blue or green. And we're going darker value. Let's do this. Your lines don't have to be perfect. They just have to be good. Sometimes that's one of my main mottos is like, it doesn't have to be like perfect, but it does have to look good. That's my job. It's like, I don't, like, these antennas don't have to be perfect, but they need to look right. They need to look good. Intentional. Also, like something, oh, hi Pumpkin. What's that? Oh, okay, cool. So we're already going higher. Pick your areas. Let's imagine the lights from up top to some, right? So it doesn't have to be exact. It just needs to look good. So pick the highlight, the lights coming from up top. I'm sure from all different directions and kind of in the center. So let's go back to what we were originally doing. Here's just detail work. It's a little too wet, so it's not, there's too much turpentine in there. I want this to be like a silvery dead green head that you worship, that helps you with your time travel experience. It's not just superstitious, but actually required for time travel. You need like this guide. When time traveling, like you need some sort of like spiritual guide to run the machine. I don't make up the rules, just telling you what's happening. So there's like a lot of things in time travel that you think you know about, that's all just physics, and no, there's some supernatural elements required for time travel. That's what this thing is for. In fact, let's get it a little more clear by adding like some sort of, it's being tapped into. Right, something's being not abstracted, what's the word? Extracted. You know what? It's nice to be back streaming. I don't know why I couldn't, like I just took about I don't know, for the lack of, I think like at least 4 months off. Maybe longer, maybe shorter, but I just couldn't do it anymore. I think this TV needs to be finely tuned. Try to leave some of the, like, even though we're going over everything, you want to leave some of the work that's in there, if possible. We're still at a good pace, at a good clip, so we'll imagine the bottom of the TV is a little darker than the top. And it's just that, we'll imagine this, we'll imagine that. In theory, you'll hear me say that way too many times. In theory, the bottom of the TV, the back of the TV, in theory, is darker than the rest of the TV. So now I got my reds mixed in with my purples, and then a little brightness. Too much. Someone's lighting some fireworks. Like the little kid fireworks. I'm just kind of tidying up anything that needs to be. Just finalize. We're just finalizing some stuff here. For the most part, it was kind of fine, but I think we just want to get those edges right. Sometimes you can overwork something 100%, but I'd say more so if you have a good pace, that's not the case. I've overworked things many times, so it's like kind of maybe 50-50. This needs some, wouldn't call it overworking it, but just needs some, I don't want it to be like impressionistic, I want it to be a TV. Now, let's go here, get that purple in. This is a strong purple. But you see I'm leaving some of those lines to really define the edges, etc. Things are round, a little bit soft. I don't have like aggressively hard edges. There's a little light reflecting. I do like the luminescence, the radioactive glow. Coffee. Can we use this? I like this purple. Bring it around for them organs. Just clean it up a bit. Look at this, purple's going everywhere. He's kind of shadowed here too. This purple's making its way across everything. Good. Some areas need to be exaggerated in order to make the point. You can always calm things down, but like these folds and some of the shadow, you're also defining some of the edges by doing this. Everything in this piece needs to be hit again. Everything needs to be refined. Maybe not the background. I think I'm okay with that. I don't think I'm going to do a radioactive glow on him. So I had this orange pink neon with a little yellow. For the kind of the highest parts of the hazmat suit or time traveler suit. When you pace yourself like this, you can really clean up things pretty easy. I need some more pink in there. It's totally cool to work yourself around the painting over and over and over again. However, don't forget some of the elements that you wanted to accomplish. I actually just mix this color for this here. I just want to lock in these wires and clean them up. We will hit the, let's see what happens here. Again, because we've kind of decoupled from any sort of reference, like, you know, like this boat painting in The Simpsons, I'm kind of going off of sheer imagination, but with the intention of like making it have some sort of surreal, realistic elements. Not to be too flat. but at the same time not to lose it. Like I'm not going to paint like a real sailboat. That's not what I want. Also kind of these, if this is a little bit brighter here, that's cool. Kind of in the middle. Everything else is got a dry brush. Just tap it, pat it. I like that. Watch where you plant your fingers. Clean up that stupid ball, which I've cleaned up too many times now. What I'm thinking about for this antenna is like if it's not looking good, it's almost like better to like make it either like erase it and have it like make it so it's more like what's the word, implied, I guess. Like imply that it's there, but you don't have to show too much detail because it's just not working. I don't like it. Even when I go really thin, it's kind of like, okay. It bothers me a little bit. I don't know if I'd do them again, I guess, but maybe I'd make them more up, not to the side. Do like this dirty aesthetic, worn and like kind of cinematic kind of element, but let's do that by not a lot of paint on here, but just darker here. So we kind of went higher in the middle, like 3-color, dark, mid, and a little brighter. Let's hit the corners a little harder. Again, it gives it the overall intention of like, okay, I'm trying to make this dirty and worn and with some cinematic coloring happening. That way it also grants you some liberty to make things a little more mysterious and implied. I don't want to touch this anymore, so let's get that finalized. I'm okay with like some fragmentation. Again, it's like implied. I'm not doing it everywhere otherwise, and I'm not doing any outlines. I thought I was in the beginning, like the standard Simpsons outline. Hit this mysterious, psychedelic, supernatural, time traveling sorcerer head. I told you earlier, you need this sorcerer head if you want a successful time traveling mission. You need to tap into like the underworld or the spiritual world in order to have a successful time traveling mission. So So we're just going finer details now because I'm trying to see what's happening. It's almost like he's dead and alive, which is kind of cool. Let's get some color in here. It's like an orangey red color in there. But also as I do that, it's like, okay, well, let's do what you said and get that, not haunting dead, but ghostly, like spooky. And I'll just keep working at it. This piece might end up going into tomorrow. That's cool. That's fine. I've kind of changed my pace over the last couple weeks, where I'm gone from, hey, this has to be finished today, to however long it takes. That's been quite a major adjustment for me. Picking out these areas where, not just where the light might be hitting it, but just to give it more depth. When you add, like, so you have like dark, mid, and then a little bit, I wouldn't call these highlights, but just the brighter side of the value. It gives it more depth. Because there's blue on here already, you can just mix it in. Again, kind of like semi-real, which would be called surreal, right? It's like it's cartoony, but also realistic. Very surreal and impressionistic too. And you add like these little bits of color tangled in the mix. Let's cut some of these sails to my liking. Do some final cuts on these stupid antennas. And then what we'll do is we'll do one more pass. Most likely, this is a true statement. This will be like the last pass on the sailboat painting on the wall. So we went another layer, right? Dark, middle highlight to highlight. And not so much reflection like in the from the light, more just about depth in the painting. If you wanted to add like a highlight from the light source, you could do something else as well, which might happen, but like that's very aesthetic and like kind of last, final touches. It's got a dry brush and moving some of this around. We're not going to hit this side of the painting, you just pick an area, it's enough. But I will actually just tidy it because I haven't worked on these for a bit. Got like a lighter gray, aka off-white. Almost treating it like not like a cartoon anymore though, like kind of, again, it has more depth and it just looks brighter than it is. It looks like maybe it's white. It's not. It's like a very, almost like a little brighter than mid-gray. Off-white's fine. Let's just call it off-white. It's like creamy green gray. Even hit it one more time with, oh, that's purple. Purple and black get mixed up all the time on my palette. It's not that the painting needs it, it's just, I'm just adding depth. Like, hey, these areas are the darkest areas in the piece, in the boat piece. Took off all the paint on my brush. I'm just going back over it now. There'll be a little residue on your brush, but just to kind of literally clean it off to here. You see no paint is coming off. Well, very little. And it's dry, what's most important. Kind of think I might paint something here, like next time. Like do a painting where I'm just focusing on the boat and the water. When I'm painting, I just come up with more and more ideas where I'll have to stop and write them down. And I was thinking about that yesterday, just like, well, let's do a Simpsons boat painting, but add like Jabba the Hutt in the boat or something. That was my idea yesterday. Now, what will happen from just that initial spin-off ideas, I'll think about it more and start refining it. And that might come to life. It might not. I don't like this. I haven't liked this since the jump, but it was necessary to some degree as far as I'm concerned. Like okay, is it like a, I don't know what's happening here. I've never liked the shape. It's not even that I messed it up, it's just never kind of formed how I wanted it to. Going like the darker, making the orange a little bit saturated and aggressive. At this stage though, when in doubt, just add a little bit. Don't make any major changes. Just get some paint in there. Give yourself some space. Often I say, like, sometimes your mistakes end up being really valuable and useful. Sometimes everything doesn't need ripples and folds. That's kind of just me telling myself that out loud. Hey, maybe you don't need, like, maybe you need just like solid patches of color to kind of calm things down, make it more coherent instead of just like everything shredded, which it could be, but like there are areas where everything is shredded. But like if you just have, okay, there's a fold here, that's enough. You don't need more and more folds, like this ruffling, silky garment. No, it's like a hazmat suit. Now I should probably be looking up at a hazmat suit, but they got lots of folds and on one hand, so. And if you watched 20 minutes ago, I put these darker shadows in there, just calming them down. I do like my own personal advice to myself, like, hey, less folds. Let's get some more like just solid colors. Some variant, there's gonna be some variants, but less is more in that regard. Let's go with that. And I think why is because I've had these folds in here for the majority of the painting, and they're just not working for me. That's it. Like, I've given them enough shelf life, like I let them grow enough where this twisted arm is fine. That's kind of cool. I like it. I just don't like all these folds because I tried. I tried to get these folds in there. Here's a little different because it's almost like it's a mechanical, lack of better words, some sort of surreal, ghostly element of his arm, like a hybrid cyborg confusion. There's a lot of confusion because it's not like it's disconnected, but it's like biomechanical. It's not straight mechanics. It's not straight zombie. It's like something, it's on purpose, but it's built terribly. Yeah, in fact, oh, just got excited. Ooh. Ooh. Got a tingle in my belly. So let's do what I'm talking about. Like, let's get some gears and some nuts and bolts and some wiring and some mechanics. Yeah, there you go. Like, all this is like robotics, like animatronics mixed with human flesh. Very like Terminator meets a ghost. That's kind of the essence of this whole painting too. Like what I said in the thing, I have a prediction where all media, it will be tailored to you, which, you know, sure, you could say that already, but I mean to an extreme where, as the title suggests, like, Mom, I don't want to watch old Simpsons. I want to watch AI Simpsons. And AI Simpsons means you get whatever you want. Like you dictate what's going to happen in the episode or in the show because you can determine everything based on your preferences. So like the Simpsons will still exist and they'll have the IP, but there'll be a program that allows you to determine what the Simpsons will be. And everyone will have their own version of the Simpsons. You can swap that out for whatever you think is more probable. But like the Simpsons IP is pretty strong, so I think they're going to get to a point where it's like, hey, I don't want the old Simpsons, I want AI Simpsons, where I can determine what, you know, have input, like almost like a choose your own adventure. Is anyone listening to me? Nope. I just gave my prediction rant to an audience of 0. I still stand behind it. Yeah, I think I got it, like, in order to get back in the streaming game. I think there's timing that's important, and I also think that there's consistency. So I kind of hope that I'm gonna be more consistent. I can't commit, but I kind of have to. Let's go harder in the highlight. This is all wet though, so it's kind of mixes differently. kind of like this Frankenstein plug thing. Oh, speaking of which, let's do that. Let's go. Let's get him. Let's make him like Frankenstein. Now that'll also give me more things to kind of maybe get a reference for, like, maybe not. Maybe there will be a patch of kind of skin here, like off-color patchwork. Originally I thought it was going to be chrome, but a chrome what? A baby head? I don't know, like it was just weird to do it. So I just keep playing with it. The more you let these kinds of things have a little dry time, the more I can play with them. I can add blues and like turquoise and more colors on there. Same with these like mechanical things I've been working on. So if you're not sure, just start in the dark. Ooh. That's me planting my finger inappropriately. But like here I want more nuts and bolts, more mechanics. So start dark. We'll get pretty detailed with this piece, I think. I want it to be detailed. I was looking at some other work that's kind of similar, where I just started with this abstract shape and figure and then built off it, which I do very often. It's like one of my most kind of like original kind of themes of just playing with abstract and then building and turning it into one of my most common themes. But there's certain pieces that are a little smaller in scale that I would just work to excess with detail. And that's kind of what I pitched to myself with this piece. I want everything to be worked hard. I just think it deserves it. And in fact, I'm excited to do it again. Might do like the Simpsons again, the boat I was talking about, or like Flintstones or something, and then just having some sort of insurgency of chaos and a story. Can we finalize this guy? My little Belial. Yeah, he's looking pretty good. Remember, back to my mechanics, because I want, if I'm going to add some dark starting points, I want to finish. I don't want to add more dark after I let this sit for a bit. So any darkness, like dark value, let's get it in now. Even same with this head, because this head's been causing me Miho, Miho. So what I was thinking is the same with this head. It's got like a tube here, very Frankenstein-y, that's fine, but just get these darkness, the darkness. Get it in there now. I still don't really know what's happening with him, but that darkness in there is, yeah, it just might just, in this case, the head might need to be keep worked and worked and worked. It's fine. Is what it is. Back to the suit, also kind of had enough of it, but if it needs time and love, so be it. At least clean up some of the lines. Like if you're not sure what to do, just okay. Because time will heal everything and like give you the direction it needs. Maybe like later today, I'll like, okay, this needs this, this needs this. But you'll be in a lot better position if your lines are cleaned, refined, and not still kind of like abstract. Maybe that's just too dark, which is surprising. Normally it's the other way, it's too bright. Maybe I need like a strap here or something, like break it up. I think I'm not committing to an actual foot. I'm committing to some sort of like appendage that is dreamlike and has utility versus just a foot. Same with this, like I thought it was going to be like bone, but it's more mechanical, I think. Like a mechanical bone is fine, but like futuristic, not your standard exoskeleton. Thanks, Miho. Stiglitz. Miho Stiglitz. I dig it. Miho Stiglitz. What happens when we do this? Let's find out. Cool, cool. I need to do something about this. This will be super boring, but gotta happen now. I want the I want this carpet. Can you guys see that? Maybe not. It's covered up by the stuff, but that's not the right color. That might come in handy, but it's not what I'm looking for. Let's see how this looks. Eerily similar, so that's not good. Is it gonna work or not? I'm not sure. Like, worst case is that it's the base for another layer, which is fine. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to, my intention in all fairness is to finish this carpet right now, not make more work. But if I just add some, if this is the mid-tone for the future where I add some darkness and some lights later, fine. At least it's kind of got some, starting to get some texture. That's why I'm going with it. Like, I'm not abandoning it and working with more color. I think it's in my best interest to keep it going. And that we will do. If I have to cover up some of the shadow work I did before, it's fine, because this is more important. You kind of gauge what's important, the most valuable, and right now it's like to clean up some of this. The floor also, the blue-green floor, the turquoise floor needs to be worked. So that might cover up certain like certain things that are not as valuable. It'll also clean up some of the lines of the tubes and the wires. It doesn't mean you have to cover things up. If you can keep stuff, do it. But have your priorities in focus. Like, hey, this carpet fur fluff is most important. I also wanted to do this yesterday so it would be dry by now, so this will take all night to be touch dry, even maybe longer, but it has to get done, so now is the time. I will be conscientious of these shadows though. I don't want to just hit them for no reason. Little dabs. Little imperfections, right? Adding some fluff to the sides gives it character. You can also shape things that need to be shaped properly, like if the actual carpet comes out a little more, now's the time. I'm treating this like a mid-value as far as I'm concerned. It's also at least distinguished enough from the middle piece, which is like an orange version of this. Mistakes you sometimes like because you're painting with such a small brush and with such small strokes, there's no real mistakes. You just work with them, they end up kind of working for you. I did add a little tint, actually should have been this way, I don't know. You see I changed the color a little bit. We're going with it. You can shape the foot as well. Now's the time to shape that foot. Cool, I like that better. Yeah, good. It's a little more, I like how it's kind of curled. So let's go up higher. Yeah, that's better. That's the first time I at least saw something there that I wasn't confused by. You don't want these harsh edges, so you just kind of, I like the shag carpet style. It's added a little more brighter value in there. See, this is kind of like why I put off stuff like this, because it's not tedious. I actually enjoy it to a degree, but it's just like a different kind of workflow, almost like a different style of painting in a sense, where it's just like this repetitive action. So you kind of just have to have the right mindset for it. I like it though. I don't despise it, but it's almost like if you're painting grass in a field after you've been painting a knight riding a horse. Painting the grass in the field is almost like a different personality. Taps into something else. It's obviously this essential and required, but it's just like, whoa, now we're painting like a shag carpet, follicles. Little variances in your mix is good, but you want to have, like I said, if you just aim for a mid value, like just overall one color, then you can add darker, and then you can add brighter. It's a good strategy to attack something like this. And because you have a base on there, gives you something to work from too, right? It's not just blank canvas, blank panel. It had the structure from my underbody, which was acrylic. We are not using acrylic now, we're using oils. Keep some of the shadow there, I like it. And don't get distracted where you abandon me, which happens to me from time to time. Not as much as it used to. Like, just don't forget to finish what you were said doing. It's just more of a reminder to myself. And also don't get confused and start working on this. It's not the same color. Again, just a reminder to myself. You can also shape some of these wires, take away or add. Most likely take away rather. Kind of can shape them a little bit better. Maybe a little less shadow in there, a little less bendy. Yeah, you can do some cool stuff there. Now everything's essentially been touched, so you're good. I kind of like how much shadow is underneath the carpet. It's not too much. I think that's better. I don't need like this line all the way around. No, it's fine. Some of it's flat, doesn't cast a shadow. Just looks a little more natural in an absurdist kind of way. All right, I'm glad I did that because I've been putting that off for too long. Let's do like a round of details, again starting because I'm going to be taking a break soon. Let's get my I don't want to do darkness later, like some things are fine. But this is like the ground level details, so then you just work from it. And if you give it enough time to rest, that's lack of a better word, dry, it won't be dry, but tacky, then I can work from it a lot easier later. Making some commitments by doing this too. Very black, that's like close to jet black. It's not, it's black mixed with some purple and brown, but That's probably the darkest value I've added so far in the painting. And again, my plotting or my strategy is to get these in now so I don't have to do this again later. As much anyway. And just work around. Also, you're refining some of your line work. You're also making commitments to some of the shapes and current designs that you have. Kind of don't know what's really happening here. So, and that goes back to my normal rule. If you don't have to make it look real, just make it look good. It's kind of the trick for surrealism. Okay, so now go over to, oh shit, muddied up my hand a little bit. Just gonna clean up my palette, my hands a little bit. And let's go to I don't know if I'll be able to finish this today or not, but I'm gonna take a moment and try to get myself in a position where it might be possible if I do this step. And that is, well, we're gonna go small brush, so Same thing, this color's okay for me. It's the mid value. Of the floor, which is good. Kind of got lucky there. And then what we'll do is we'll work from it. So you add some highlights, maybe 2 stages of highlights, not sure, and then some dark elements as well. I'm not sure if everything has to be worked, but for sure most of it. You can also correct anything. Now's the time to correct any of these shapes. For the wires, it's almost better to take away and then take your time again if you have to. Meaning, like, if I erase this wire completely because it's just wrong, that's fine. Now's the time. You're also making a commitment with this color. Before, when I put down the blues, it was just getting layers in there, in a sense, like just to see things better, clearer. And you refine it, of course, while you do that, but then you always know there's going to be another, not always, but typically you know there's going to be another layer happening where you're going to refine everything and finalize it. And that's what I'm talking about for like finishing this painting today. I can't finish this painting today unless I do this. So I want to get everywhere where there's the mid floor, the mid value, like the main color, let's call it the main color of the floor. I kind of want these little rabbit strokes. And they seem to be going like horizontally, which is good. Almost like water. Waves of water, very similar strategy. Really commit. Don't hold back. Clean up those lines, those tubes or cords. Try to keep that brush stroke consistent, crossing it over. Now you can kind of see the shape of the drawer or dresser or the end table. Where is it wrong? Where does it need to be worked? I've kind of had enough of it. It's causing me to, like, it's just there because of the Simpsons. It's kind of useless. Okay. I don't really need to worry about the shadows at the moment. Because, like I said, just stick to the plan. This plan is to get this main color, the main mid tone applied across the board. I was almost thinking about moving to a larger brush, but not necessary. It's a little painstaking, I know, but I just want that slow pace control. This earlier floor was applied with a larger brush, right? And you kind of get these different kind of application. And I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for these small brush strokes. Try it for yourself. See the difference in the small brush strokes compared to a larger brush. I'm not even claiming that this is better, it's just what I need to do. This is what I'm telling myself. Especially, well, for here is 100% a fact. For stuff over here, it should, like, I'm just going to stick to the small strokes to build it up. Small strokes. Fix everything. We're finalizing this layer. Have more control. Slow the pace. Those are all the benefits. Going that horizontal sea water application. A river, building like a river here. Don't cover up everything. Be conscientious. Take a beat. And if you're like, okay, we can cover that, it's fine, then go for it. But just don't get too carried away. Some of these shadows work. For example, I think I put on too much here in this one area, so we'll just take you off. Dry brush, clean and dry brush. Just here, let's just pull this around a little bit. Because this shadow is actually pretty good. I don't want to create more work for myself. These shadows around the couches are important. But the main goal is still just to get that blue in there. That is, believe it or not, even though I'm kind of like doing a quick side, a little detour, and a little bit of shadow work, the main goal is back to this brush, which is just the blue. Good thing you made enough of the blue to cover everything. We'll hit all the way down to the bottom. All the way down. Now we can kind of decide where it finalize the, okay, where is the shadow? Where are the shadows going to be? I think there's no shadow there. The shadow's just on the carpet before I had the shadow coming off the carpet. Too much. Too much. The shadow's not quite right, a little loose. This cable's too strong, you know, just work. But I'm really glad this is in there now. Like now it's like, okay, you have this consistent floor now for me to work and finalize. You got the base in there. This is a little more tedious because it's at the bottom of the painting, so I'm kind of leaning in a little bit differently. It would be a little more meditative if I wasn't live streaming. Kind of get lost for 20 minutes, 10 minutes. Play music. It's just one of those things that, hey, it needs it, so let's do that. Then take a step back, which we'll do in a moment, and really see where are things confused, awry? Where are things messed up? Where do things don't make, where are the elements that do not make sense or unclear or untouched even? What is wrong? What needs to be fixed? That kind of thing. Because you got your base, everything's wet, everything is ready to go for you to. So I notice like here is not right. I want this exoskeleton to be sharp. So also, is everything touched? Did you hit everything? Is it consistent for the most part? This might all seem like self-evident or obvious, but it's kind of not telling you, I'm just telling myself. So it's not, because you can get kind of sidetracked all the time with different stuff. It's gotta keep you gotta keep yourself in the game, gotta keep yourself focused. Especially for my brain. I lose focus so easy that I mix a color for a specific task and then I end up totally missing the task that I missed the color for. I go into something else. That happens daily. Daily. So when I talk to myself, it's just to kind of keep me on the straight and narrow, keep me focused. Okay. Like I said, now is that time where I said step back. Let me see. Muffin guy, appreciate you. Yeah, I haven't gone live though, to be honest, in months. I just thought this was a fun painting to go live for, because there's so many little hidden gems, hidden treasures. At least lots to see. Some stages, I think personally, I just don't like going live because it's, I think, uninteresting. But where I have this piece now is there's lots of stories happening, lots of ideas that have come to life already, so it's worth it. Now, let me keep my keep a portion of my blue, the floor, to the side, untouched. Now let's get a little purple and a little black. Mix it in there. Mix it with that blue. So now we have a darker value. Same small brush. This is kind of key. The same small brush. Get a couple lines in there. Sounded like RFK Jr. Get a couple lines in there. And pick out where you want some shadows. These shadows under the wires are very easy to add, so I don't need to pay too much attention to them right now. But the shadows along the couch, I don't think there's going to be shadow there for that foot. I took it away, it's just here now. It's not black, it's just it's a darker value of the floor. Purples and blacks, mostly purples, mixed with the blue. It's still helping you tidy up. You make little marks, and then you can pull both ways. You can add the blue back Or you can put a little more darkness in here, for example, a little more dark here. A little more dark here, under that couch. A little more dark along the line of the floor. Jamie Turds. What's cooking? Now, just made it, this is a dry brush, and I'm just working some of the darker value into the rest of the painting. I'm just cleaning off the same brush. And this is like 90% dry. I'm just working everything into each other. These little shadows I put in there, let's work them in a little bit. They're just too, they're not blended yet. They're not worked. Sometimes all you got to do, you don't even have to think, you just work it till you like it. And if you kind of set yourself up right, like I said, I'm going to clean this brush again, dry it off, and then you just, basically like a dry brush technique, right? Just work in these wet paints with but you start with a dry brush. And it's small, it's a very small brush, but see, it's dry. Just gonna tidy this up. Look at me. Look at it, we're doing it. Yay. Just tidying things up. Go around. And because we had a bit of a base on the floor already, it's like really easy just to make it, everything kind of comes together pretty quickly. So as tedious as this wasn't that painstaking. It's also not a big painting, right? It's not super large. Just easy flow. And so I got some of that blue. It kind of just looks like a little bit too strong, that shadow. Yes, it can be like kind of like darker on the corners, that's fine, but not too much. We're going to go heavier in the shadow here, because I'm implying that the TV shadow is here. So this line's very strong right now, but remember, we can tidy that up. Tidy that up. And this is not the right color for the couch, as much as you want to do that. You also want to imply the shape of the TV to some degree. Use your imagination. Do I like that? No, but it's, you know, it's at least we have the block of the right color. This is quite a dark hit of shadow, so just be conscientious. It's like a heavier, you know, into the black territories. There's very dark value underneath there. I'm going to put some darkness right in those corners. I don't know if you can see that, so I won't spend too much time talking about that, but I just want to know I got a dry brush. I'm going to say it's almost like 100% dry. And just work those dark, the dark application that you just move it around a little bit, tidy it up, make it work like slowly. Here, I don't like this line. I want it to be way more soft. Because I don't really want you to see like these sharp shadow edges. I want it to be blurry. Especially for this piece, everything is a little softer. He's focused. You can even grab some of your blue and some of the shadow color. So now we're in like the mid area. Mid is good. So not your shadow, not your mid color, your shadow mid. So like now you've kind of broken up the dark middle highlight. Now we're in the dark middle high, or now we're in between the dark and middle. Now, is the dark middle everywhere? No. So you can just pick where it needs to go. I think this just needs the middle. Like the main, remember, I called it the main floor color. Any edges need to be tidy up. Now's the time. Don't want to do this again. Any of those lines in the carpet, now's the time. Like breaking it up, making it fluffy. All right. Oh, and I didn't touch this yet, so just clean off your brush. And just add a little shadow. What's it called when you have the rings around the outside? Like the shadow around the edges? I forget. Anybody? Yes, liquid oils. And but no, liquid, not linseed oil. And turpentine and mineral spirit combination. But liquid for sure. Liquid because I really plan my paintings out pretty strategically throughout the days, so that like later today I can come on this and this floor won't be necessarily touch dry, but it'll be tacky. Not that I'll work on it. And then, but like a lot of the things I was working on today will be touch dry because of liquid, so that I can get multiple sessions in one day. Now, the most important part is actually I want to go the other way. Let me see if I have the floor kind of so I just want to add a little bit of highlights now in certain areas. Again, it's the same principle as the painting, like just this adds depth, dimension. So instead of just sticking to one, kind of like three colors, I'm adding, I'll stick to my guns here, get a dry brush, and just work this around. This isn't a highlight from the light, even though it is, but like not like your traditional highlight. It's just more like more dimension in the floor, where it's not all one singular color with some shadow. Let's go the other way. Still doing that traditional like lake, ocean brush stroke work, so it's horizontal, going from left to right or right to left, same thing. And I'm just working around in some of these, but we're going to work them in so they're subtle. I think they will be. Yeah, I don't want to make, I just want the floor not to be all unified. I want it to be broken up. So I have my block there. It's going into the darkness, that's fine. Got my block here. Then we'll clean my brush. Anywhere else? Here's good. Here, more. Here, more. It's kind of in the center. Like you see how this ring of light is there? It's kind of like a ring. Maybe not a ring, but there's just patches where it's lighter on the carpet. And while I'm on the carpet, now's the time. It's not later. Because I want to work everything in together. So clean off your brushes, dry them, and then dry brush them in together. And then you can kind of add the highlight again, maybe in a smaller. So for example, this is a dry brush. It's going to work in those highlights. Be cognizant of where your shadows are. They don't need to touch, they don't really need to work together. If the brush becomes too wet, get your other brush that's dry, and like that's too wet now. This is a dry brush. I may have to use a bigger brush depending if it doesn't flow right, but I think we're good. Same principle, clean off your brush. Dry it off. I actually don't typically spend this much time on floors, but I did want to put more detail into this piece specifically. I'm pretty excited about it. Adding like subconscious creatures into my childhood memories. Adding time traveling ghouls, spiritual ghouls into my childhood. Now I think I'm gonna do what I said, which is we're gonna go highlight again, even higher highlight, be a little more selective. I'm gonna go here. Just a little touch. Here, here. Really easy to work in. Not a major commitment. Get your dry brush. Extra dry. I think this is most important. Start there. Right underneath the figure, right? So. Not very aggressive, pretty conscious what's happening, even though it's just the flooring. I don't want it to be fluffy like the carpet, that's why I'm going in these directions. And Babning na kaban, Pawa, I'm almost finished. I'm gonna stop it.
I kind of have it.
Yeah.
I have now.
Okay. All right. Once I get this floor on here, that'll be the end of this session. Dry your brush off. Don't get carried away. You don't want things applied differently. I'm not going to explain it. Just try it yourself when you have a dry brush and you have wet on wet painting and you apply it with a wet brush compared to a dry brush. It's not night and day. It's not that dramatic, but there is a difference. Try it for yourself. And don't jump around, stay the course, keep your strategy. So it's these small brushes. I'm not using a larger brush. They're dried off like 90%. I dry them on a napkin so that they're really fluffy to work with. They're not wet, they're not coated. Keep that direction happening. So often I can just get lost and abandon the strategy. If you can remind yourself, try to stick with it. It's also how I learn, because you're like, okay, I know how to do this. I've done it, 50 times. And it's because I had a strategy. Like, it's not new every time. Every time I'm painting a floor, it's not a new experience. There's some consistency. Right now the brush is wet and not dry, so it flows differently. Not even necessarily good or bad, it's just different. It does look more wet when I'm doing that. Like the floor is wet. Like maybe it's like what is it? No, how do you say those floors? Those linoleum? What is it called? I'm embarrassed. Linoleum? What are those floors called? And what's the shadows around the edges? Oh, I almost had it. Tip of my tongue, it's gone. Linoleum? I gotta ask Google right now. This is gonna be awkward. You're gonna hear me. Okay. Linoleum floors? Linoleum. Oh my God. Linoleum. Maybe I should name this piece linoleum. Oh my God. See, when you stream, you have to be like, you're kind of self-conscious about shit. And sometimes when I'm painting, I don't want that extra fucking headache. Oh God. Linoleum. I think like Nanaimo bars. Linoleum. Ugh. Oh my God. Okay, Jamie, what are the sides called on the paintings when they're darker on the sides? What are the sides when the sides of the painting or the edges of the painting, they're darker, usually in photographs? What's that called? I forget. Little help. Borders? No. When you have, it's dark shadows in the corners of like an old photograph, it's called something. Usually the photograph's like sepia colors. And then they have the edges are faded. It'll come to me one sec. Faded. Like I even think in the current apps you can put vignette. Yes, I got it. Vignette. All right, that's it. Vignette. Toodles.